good day, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, we are back together. Right, so today we are looking at question 4 from that technical maths exemplar. So we did question 3 the last time. So please, if you haven't subscribed or even watched that, subscribe first and then go and watch the other videos. It is quite an interesting question paper. And by the way, just to remind you, I will put these the link where you can find these papers on the description of this video. All right, now let's go on to the next question. So they say to us the formula E is equals to mc squared describes the relationship between mass M measured in kilograms and energy E measured in joules rather. How much energy in scientific notation could be created in a 3 kilogram bowling ball, right? If c, the speed of light, is 3 times 10 to the power 8 meters per second. Okay, so this is just simply an application question, right? We know that E is equal to mc squared, right? They have given us the mass, so we just simply substitute. That's 3 kilograms, and they've given us the speed of light there. And I think they were meant to tell us that c, or rather speed, is measured in meters per second. But nonetheless, that's 3 times 10 to the power 8, but this is squared, right? So let's do that quickly. So 3 multiplied by 3 exponent. Okay, so you can say times 10. No, not squared. That's 8. Oops. I'm not sure what's happening. Right, so you square that. Okay, that gives me 2.7 times 10 to the power 17. And remember, they said E is measured in joules, so that should be joules over there. All right, so hopefully you were able to get that. Okay, so the next one, they say solve for x and y in the following simultaneously. Right, so in simultaneous equations, ladies and gents, so what I'll do is, if you don't mind, I'll erase that so that I create space for 4.2. Right, so the best thing is to always, in your two equations, find out which one would be simpler for you to make subject of the formula out of. So the simplest one would be one where you don't have a fraction, right? Now if I look at equation, let's call this equation 1, and let's have 6x plus 7y equal to 3. Let's call that equation 2, right? Now, if I look at equation 1, sometimes it confuses people when I do that. So that's equation 1 and equation 2. So from equation 1, I see I've got a y there that I can make subject of the formula. So from equation 1, okay, I can make y the subject of my formula. So that's y is equals to 5. Take the 2x to the other side, it becomes negative. So that's 5 minus 2x. Okay, so now, if you want to, we can call this equation 3, okay? So what we're going to do is substitute equation 3 into equation 2. Now remember, you cannot substitute it back into the equation that you derived it from, okay? So I am going to substitute it into equation 2. So that means everywhere I see y on equation 2, I am going to now put in 5 minus 2x. So I've got 6x plus 7y, but y now becomes 5 minus 2x, and this is equal to 3. Right, and let's solve for x. So I've eliminated one of the variables, so I've got 6x plus 7 multiplied by 5, that's 35, minus 7 times negative 2, That's negative 14x, and this is equal to 3. Right, and what do I have? I'm going to take the 35 to the other side, okay? And I've got 6x minus 14. Right, and that will give me minus 8x. Right, and 3 minus 35. Right, remember I change the sign, so that will be minus 32. And if I divide both sides by negative 8, all right, and x is going to be equal to 4. Okay, so x would be equal to 4. You can verify that. And by the way, you can, I mean, there are other ways in which you could have achieved that in this case, right? But now we've got the value of x. We need to find the value of y. So we're going to substitute y is equal to 4 in equation 3, right? The one that we simplified. So that means y is 5 minus 2 times 4. And so y would be equal to, so that's 5 minus 8, and that would be negative 3. All right. And that is how the cookie crumbles, ladies and gents. So please always compose yourself when you are going to do these questions because, I mean, they are worth quite a number of marks. You do not want to take a misstep. And one thing that I've realized is that you guys tend to, make quite a number of mistakes, especially when it comes to the algebra part, just the moving of terms and so on. And please just make sure that you compose yourself and you answer this to the best of your ability. Right, now, and by the way, guys, the only way to cure that is to practice, right? Okay, let's go to question 3. They 4.3, they say 2 cross-country runners, Thabo and Leslie, okay? So we've got to Thabo and Leslie, start running from the same point, okay, at 5, so that's at 5 o'clock, in exactly opposite directions. Thabo runs at 18 kilometers per hour and Leslie runs at 6 kilometers per hour, right? At what time will they be 168 kilometers apart? Now, I want you guys to think about it. So what we're doing here, we're going to be looking at the distance. So we know that distance is equals to speed multiplied by time. Please remember this, okay? So let's say here's Thabo going that way, okay? So Thabo runs at a speed. So this is the distance for Thabo. Okay, I'll call it dt. The speed at which Thabo runs is 18 kilometers per hour. Okay, multiplied by time, whatever the time that it will take for him to have reached whatever point. Okay, and then you also have Leslie. My friend's name is Leslie. I call him Dales. Okay, so he runs in the opposite direction. So for Leslie, his distance, that's going to be 6 kilometers per hour. So that's 6 multiplied by whatever time. Now, I want you guys to note in this case, we are simply talking about speed and distance. That's why I'm not going to bother too much about, I'm not going to bother much about the direction, okay? So, in this case, if I was talking about velocity, then we would have to say, well, this is minus t, right? So, if I look at this, all right, which means if I add the distance that Leslie runs, so this is dl, plus the distance that Thabo runs, they must give me 168 kilometers. So What can I therefore say? It means dt plus dl should give me 168. So that means that's 18t. And by the way, this is after a certain amount of time, right? And that time would be the same for both of them, right? Because they started running simultaneously. So that's dt plus 6t. That's 168. And if I add those two, 18 plus 6, that gives us 24t. That's 168. And we can divide both sides by 24. Okay, and what do we get? 168 divided by 24. So that means time must actually be in hours, right? Because the speed was 6 kilometers per hour. So that will be 7 hours. Okay. Right, so that's after 7 hours. Well, they must be comrade runners, I am assuming. Okay, right, and this is how the cookie crumbles, ladies and gents. So we're going to be talking about question 5 on the next video, right? It has to do with graph interpretation. But for now, let's leave it here, and I'll see you guys again next time. Shop, shop.